everyone doing? My name is Greg Scott. I am a senior here studying marketing, mathematics, and sales. I wanted to give a talk that I've actually given before, but to kind of a different audience. But this is one that I think is important for those of us going into potential careers in recruitment, and also those of us who are trying to start companies. I think it's important because my perspective as a senior is that recruitment's kind of broken. The way a lot of companies go about recruiting, it isn't necessarily effective. And I think it starts from the very get-go of, if you're going to recruit it, there's a better way to do it. So I want to start off basically by talking a little bit more about millennials and getting into that, because ultimately that's the new workers of the economy. And what we really see is that millennials care about a major word, and it's where I think the problem starts, and it's impact. Other generations, you look at generations like the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, they have different needs and different desires and different wants with regards to what they are really seeking. Millennials are a little bit different. They grew up in a world in which 2 wars occurred. One of the single greatest financial crises in the country happened. And you have this area where they see all those problems, and we see those problems, and we want to do something about that. That's my own personal belief. And that's where I think for a recruitment side, regardless of your business, you have to think about how do you tie that impact, how do you tie those personal goals to an organizational side. So to give you some background on myself, I'm a numbers guy. I like to kind of think through that process. This is a chart of the houses foreclosed on within the United States. Circled is when I was in high school, so I graduated in 2011. I went through public school K through 12. By the end, my school district was in disrepair pretty much. There was a multi-million-dollar budget crisis because the banks don't pay property tax. And so ultimately we had 1,000 foreclosures in a 12-month period. We had programs that were being cut because the board's response was, cut it all. If it wasn't bolted down or nailed to the wall, we're cutting it. And if it wasn't state mandated, we're cutting it too. And if it was state mandated, we might cut it and see if we can get away with it. So ultimately, we see that I saw this level of, this system is broken. Something has to be done. Someone has to say something. So I did. My mom almost had a heart attack, I think, at the time, but I actually ran for school board when I was 18 years old. I took a year off between high school and college. I built out a 3-page plan. It's called the Greg Scott Plan. It was saving our schools. I actually had yard signs, Great Scott, Greg Scott, Board of Education. Those are popular, trust me. And I actually had probably a lot too much hair. Yeah. And also, if you look back, I really had 2 dress shirts and 2 ties. So it was either blue or red tie, and it was either a white shirt or a blue shirt. So not a lot going on as far as that, but I definitely had the vigor and kind of the guts to do it. But I ran a COI campaign. I went door to door. I knocked on probably 1,000 doors. I went to debates. I got in somewhat arguments with 40 to 50, 60-year-old candidates. And also came pretty close to winning. I took 4,200 votes. I was about 1,500 short of unseating a 2-term, 8-year incumbent who also outspent me 7-1. So the money definitely plays a role in politics. I can tell you that personally. But at the end of the day, I tell you a story because I don't keep it a secret. For some of the people in the room, Dave, Steve especially, have probably heard this story 10, 20 times easily. It's on my LinkedIn page. I think to me it's a piece of who I am, a piece of what I believe in. And I think it's interesting because recruitment today is broken, and I think this story is an easy way to show why. At the end of the day, I don't keep that a secret, but recruiters feel like, I feel like to me, recruiters do think that it's a secret. So on a daily, weekly basis, I get lots and lots of in-mails and emails all talking about how much I'd be a great fit for their organization, how awesome my leadership skills look like. This one is one of my particular favorites because it talks about how excited about the training at Ralph Schey Sales Center as I attended Ohio State University, so that was a low point for that one. At the end of the day, I think it highlights why recruitment is broken, is that I'm not keeping that a secret. In fact, at the very top of my profile on my LinkedIn, you can literally read this exact story, but I have yet to meet or receive an email from a cold called recruiter saying, hey, I saw that. It sounds like a pretty cool idea. Can we talk about it for 15 minutes? And maybe also talk about how I have opportunities available to you. No one's ever done that, and that's where I think you see recruitment really having issues, and that's where if you guys are thinking of going into a recruiting role, thinking of starting businesses, I implore you to think about the people first and the organization second. So At the end of the day, this is my schedule. This is from, I think, a couple months ago, but at the same time, I'm busy. Those messages, like Ohio State University, aren't getting through, and they're especially not getting through when you call it going to OSU. But regardless, they're not getting through because I'm not interested in a cold called email that just isn't personalized at all. There's no form to that. So I think there's a better way. I think that way, to me, there are two takeaways. First and foremost, recruiting and sales. I think at the end of the day, you have to be able to align and understand what each individual person wants, what are their personal goals, and align those to organizational ones. And it's not as hard as that really sounds. I think there are organizations that if I'm interested in getting involved in a civic side, talk to me about the roles that your organization takes on a city side. I think that level is that recruiters have to understand you're talking to people. So the other thing, and this is where I get pushback, I've given this talk a couple of times to chambers of commerce, I get pushback from baby boomers. It's all about how my industry is not sexy. I'm in insurance or I'm in chemicals. No one's ever going to want to work for me. Everyone wants to work for Facebook and Google and Yahoo and LinkedIn. Well, maybe not Yahoo, but regardless, it's not what you sell, it's how. And I think that's significant because you have to think more about the person and the people than just the organization. Right now, those emails are all talking about the great opportunities in Cleveland, Columbus, or San Francisco, or Boston, or Florida. But they're not talking about what I actually want. They're not really getting to know me, and they're not engaging in any conversation. That's ultimately where I want to leave you, and I think I also want to just say that at the end of the day, if you want to go into recruiting, if you want to start a business and get people excited, talk to them first as people, and recruit second. Thanks so much.